You're on.
All right, so welcome everybody. I'd like to today we'll be interviewing Jeffrey Kasmer. He's a longtime member of Team Abundance, and we're just going to get to know a little bit about Jeff, your background, your experience with trading, your experience with Team Abundance, and yeah, we'll have some fun.
All right, sounds good. All right, so let me give you a little bit of background on mine. I've got my Mountain Dew, so I'm ready to go here. People that know me, I do not drink coffee. I cannot stand coffee, which is kind of funny because one of my previous jobs, I was a district manager for Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and one of the jobs was to go in when I'm visiting stores to test the coffee in the morning, right? Because this was a rotated every hour or something like that.
Right.
And I would taste the coffee. I'm like, I don't know if this is good or not because I don't drink coffee. So anyway, so I'm in Chicago, and I grew up in Chicago, and I went to St. Louis for college, and then I came back to Chicago in 1998, 99. So I have 3 kids. I am divorced. I don't wish that upon anybody. I have one son who lives with me. I have a daughter in Arizona. I have a daughter in Tennessee. So my background, how I got to trading, was interesting. So back in the early 2000s, I was going through a kind of a tough time. I was going through a divorce, full-time job. It was just a lot of stuff. And I had just reached the point that, okay, enough's enough. I've got to change the course of my direction, right? I had a good job, but it required me to work constantly. And of course, if you're going through a divorce, you're in court, you have court visitation. The kids are active. They're very small at this point. And I had just no time to myself, no matter what my paycheck said, just none. And so I knew I had to make a change. So it's about 24 years ago now. I found a program online that could build you a website, deliver it to you, and integrate 5 like affiliate programs in it. Okay. And the first affiliate program, which believe it or not, I checked before this interview, is still up, called SFI. And it was tied into a program that is still being sold, which is kind of amazing, the plug-in profit site. So that was my first online business. And I had a website. I knew nothing about building a website, absolutely nothing. And but it was delivered to me. I had affiliate programs on the page, and all I had to do was kind of follow ways to try to draw traffic to it and make money. And I said, okay. And I could change the website any way I want. So I knew nothing. It's not like today when you're building a website, push a button here, and I got a website, right? There was HTML and all that stuff. And I had to learn it by hand. Now, the resources provided to me with the site helped a little bit, but it was really a cookie cutter site. It was up to me to be able to add programs, take programs out, how to add AdSense. AdSense is still around for Google. CPA programs, cost per action, right? So in case somebody was on my site, they just click that on. Oh, I want more information about that. I would get a small fee. Could be a couple bucks, could be 5. I didn't always have to make it by somebody buying a product, okay? So I built this website. I taught it for myself. I'm full-time job. I actually had a part-time job, going through a divorce, 2 kids that were small at the time, and I'm building this website. And I'm learning about search engine optimization. I am learning about, okay, how can I draw traffic other than, solo advertising or mom and dad visit my website, buy a product. And I just dug in, and every day I would just learn more and more about how to get members to see my site. And then in the same time, I'm adjusting how the website looks, and I'm building it. I'm adding pages to it. So as time went on, to make a long story short, I was able to get ranked on the first page of Google for terms like home business, home-based business, work at home, work from home, all the biggies. And I was in competition. Yeah, I was in competition with monster sites. Now the algorithms changed. It would be much harder to do that now. But I was outranking entrepreneur.com. That's where I was at. So I was on page 1 for hundreds of terms. So obviously The income was flowing. All right. And so then I flipped it. I flipped it for big money. And then I just kind of moved on to my next venture. So it's really about affiliate marketing, network marketing, and I just loved it. Building websites, flipping them, affiliate programs, building relationships with folks. And so did that for probably the next, 18 years, so to speak. And then I was scrolling on Facebook. Back when I started, Facebook barely got off the ground. Now it's just a monster entity. And I saw this ad about trading. Now, anybody that's on Facebook kind of knows how it works now. If you post stuff on a certain topic, then you're getting all these ads coming on your Facebook wall. Check this out, check this. So I knew nothing about trading or Forex. I never did anything about it. I didn't know what the word, I tell this to people all the time, members who are thinking about joining our community and members already, I didn't know what the word Forex meant. I had no idea. I mean, I didn't even go to Google to say, what is Forex? I mean, it's crap. I just didn't want to even deal with it. And I had to see this ad over and over. Right? And that's certainly part of like attraction marketing, right? Sometimes there's always our leadership says people will buy as soon as they see it, like they make a decision. Some people in 30 days, some people need to see it 5-7 times. Well, I haven't told anybody of this, and a lot of the people that I talk to that have joined our community, some people take up to 2 years before they join. Well, I was one of them. It took me a year, constantly seeing this ad. And I'm like, okay, let me kind of check this out, right? Because I'm still doing well. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can just, trade. And I'm not, constantly running advertisements, talking to thousands of people, whatever the case may be, even though my experience was in that arena. So I joined this Team Abundance. And then back then, Team Abundance now has been around almost 7 years. This is like year 1. And I was kind of blown away. Now, the resources we have now, I'm sure we'll talk about it later in the interview, blows away what we had then. But what we had then was just amazing. It was just the support, the leadership. They cared about you. We are going to teach you properly how to trade. But I didn't know what a candlestick was, right? I talk to people all the time. Hey, I'm going to join your team. Hey, I'm going to join Josh's team. And I have some experience in trading. They're so far ahead of where I was, Josh. They're so far ahead because I knew nothing. A candlestick, and then I pulled up a chart. I mean, that's calculus to me, okay? Absolute calculus. So I said, okay, let's do it. So I joined, and best decision I made. Best decision I ever made was learning how to trade. Doesn't mean there wasn't roadblocks. Doesn't mean I was frustrated, and we'll get into that, in a little bit. But it was the best decision that I ever made because it is the best skill and the highest earning skill you can learn on the planet, period. And so I've been doing that ever since for the past, almost 6 years.
Wow. So yeah, I didn't realize actually, the background that you have in when you mentioned like affiliate marketing and building websites, selling them, building those connections. That's really impressive, especially getting to the first page of Google. That's not everybody can say that.
Well, no, and you know what? It's interesting because when I sold the site, after that, it was kind of like good timing because Google released, there was a couple updates in their algorithm. I think one was Panda and one was called something else. And then all the little guys, even though I was on the page 1 with the big boys, suffered big time on rankings, So I think it was the case of I picked the right time to sell just to move on to a different opportunity. So it just provided me the lifestyle to kind of choose my next direction. And I just listed it. I had people bidding on it. It was like an auction, but I wasn't going to take it below a certain amount. Somebody exceeded that greatly, and I said, by all means, jump on it. And of course, I was always there for support afterwards for like the first 90 days. And it was just, it was really the grind. It was a daily grind for me until I could do it, full time. And it was just one of the best decisions I ever made because I took control of my future. I mean, just to give you a brief synopsis, my days at Dunkin' Donuts, and I have nothing bad to say about Dunkin' Donuts, is I was working for a company and I had 10 stores on the south side of Chicago. All right. And before I changed jobs to Dunkin' Donuts, I past, when I interviewed before I got hired, I wanted a lifestyle change. The previous job sometimes was 6 days, 12-hour days, and I asked these specific questions. This is the thing nowadays with jobs and stuff like that. You interview for your job, but you're not necessarily getting exactly what you were promised to get. Just unfortunately, hopefully it's better. I wouldn't know, but and so I had my 10 stores. I was a district manager. I've been a district manager for a couple different other companies, and then they were on an expansion. So I was driving. Anybody who's in the Chicago area, I was on the south side, and in the morning at 3 o'clock, I was open new stores 45 minutes from Chicago, sometimes an hour. And then I was there several hours. Okay, now go to your district. And I'm like, that's not what was discussed in the interview. So at that point, I said, okay, now I'm doing something different. So, yeah, it's a good background. I mean, when somebody says, they can't do it, they can do it.
And that's one of the risks of working for a company like that, or just a large company in general. Is just you're kind of at their mercy. I mean, things can change things. And you just kind of have to adapt or find something else.
Yeah, I mean, like a dime. I mean, my experience is always in retail sales management. Out of college, some people see this on my Facebook timeline. I ran a theater in St. Louis. Great experience. Managed a deli, a staff of 30. I was a district manager for Washington Inventory Service. Those are those companies that come into the store with the 10 key machines and count everything. So I've had a wide variety of experience, and I'm sure that's helped me where I am today. And I wouldn't change that for anything in the world. But I just wanted more lifestyle, more time for me and my family, because I had, as I said back then, 2 small kids. They both ended up being, in lots of activities, lots of sports, always running around left and right. And I wouldn't change anything in the world about me saying, you know what, I'm not going to be in the corporate world so that I'm leaving at 3 a.m. for an hour and come home at 6 at night. I'm going to miss all this stuff. So I just said, not happening. And, I just made a choice. So.
And you were tired of living to work. You wanted to, take your life back.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah, so one of my questions, I think we kind of addressed it, but I was going to ask if, if anyone can learn to trade if they have a busy lifestyle.
Well, they can. There's no question they can. And I have talked to probably the past probably thousands actually at this point. And I'll tell you a story about, and I don't know if I've told you this story. I told some members this story. I have a person that was from another country in Asia, and we had been talking for a little bit. And I get this question all the time about, can I trade? I got a job, I got kids, I got a family, I've got a wife or a husband in that regard. How am I going to have time to learn to trade? Well, a couple things are important here. The first is the markets are open 24/7, right? So when somebody says, "Hey, I worked 6 to 2 in the 6 a.m. to 2 p.m." Okay, well, you got 2 more sessions that you can trade in. Okay, so the markets are open 24/7, 5 days a week, and then on Saturday, Sunday, obviously crypto. And of course, we don't want you to trade crypto until you master Forex, but you certainly can. Now, each individual, and I've probably heard hundreds of different scenarios. Here's my scenario. I'm available Saturday and Sunday, etc. But this one lady came to me and said, "Can I do it?" And I believe in every person that comes to me. I believe any person that comes to you that they can be successful trading. Okay. When they came to me and said, "Jeff, can I honestly learn to trade?" I don't give up on anybody. Nobody. I don't care what schedule it is, what setback you have, what challenges you have, you can learn this skill. And in most cases, 60%, I've done a little trading, right? And there's 40%, I've done no trading, like myself. And this is her schedule, okay? And I did think about it for a couple minutes, like, yeah, you can. Because if you're fighting to change your future, then you got to fight to find the time, right? She had one 8-hour job. Then she would go to her second 8-hour job. Then she's got kids, and she'd have to sleep. And I'm thinking, okay, let me think about this for a second, because I don't want somebody to just jump on board and they fail. Any person that jumps on board, I want them to succeed. I mean, we have thousands of success stories. And I said, yes, you can. And we covered what time she's available to trade, because people have this adage, I got to sit in front of the charts to make a trade. Okay. No, you don't. Okay. We have the system set up in place to help you. So, yes, she came on board, and she would, we have a Discord community. She'd post her wins like almost every day. Win, 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 win. And I'm like, she picked it up faster than I ever imagined. And I wasn't getting, there are some folks that I have on the team, on my part of the team, that ask me questions all the time, which is great. That's fine. And I have some people that don't necessarily bother me unless they really need to reach me because of the resources we have available. And she was one that never really bothered me too much, other than to say, hey, Jeff, I just quit my first job. Oh, my God. That's amazing. Because where I'm at in my journey, Josh, is I want to help free people, right? I know how to trade, and now I get greater joy. Maybe if I was 22, it'd all be about the bling bling and all that kind of stuff. It's not for me. I want to help free people. And when she told me one job she quit, and she was on her way to quitting her second job, so think about that. That's 16-hour days, at least 5 days a week, sleep and family. And now she has that 8 extra hours. That's 40 extra hours for her trading, for her family, for whatever she wants to do. That's called freeing yourself. And she did it. I can't take that credit other than saying, I believe in you, you can do it. So when somebody comes to me, can I trade? I'm busy, I've got a job. Yes, that's my answer.
Oh, that's really amazing. Yeah, I mean, like you said, freeing up that extra 40 hours a week, just gives you so much more time to spend with family, to do, like you said, to do whatever you want. It's more freedom that you give to, or that you have when you can trade successfully.
Yeah, I mean, in her case, let's just say she takes 10 of those 40, or maybe an hour a day, 5 extra hours trading, right? Or learning the skill, mastering even more. Imagine what that can do for her lifestyle. I mean, she was already said she was on her way to quitting her second job. And I'm like, I think, and I have tons of success stories, and our team does, but I think that one takes the cake, because how do you sleep, right? So she was coming home in a certain window, either going to sleep, kids, whatever, and then waking up early, that 1 or 2 hours, and set an alarm, etc. You can manage it from your phone, and it's just an amazing story. And so that's what we do, Josh. And so when somebody comes to me, I don't think I've ever said, no, you can't. That's too busy. So you can do it. It's just how bad you want it.
Yeah, I mean, if she can learn to trade with, with 2 full-time jobs and kids and having to work in sleep, there's no reason why anybody couldn't do it.
Yeah,
Like you said, if they want it bad enough.
And you've talked to people, I've talked a lot of people. And the one thing that people like to do is throw a roadblock. Okay. They're interested. Wait. I got a job. I got kids. I got family. I got softball practice. And it depends on how bad you want it. It's like anything. You have to set your goals. You have to set a schedule. And for trading, you have to set a trading plan. And anybody can achieve what any of our success stories achieve. It's without a doubt. No one will ever convince me otherwise that you can't be successful trading. There's only two ways that you fail with trading, with us anyway. 1, you quit, and 2, you don't lay out what we lay out, step by step. But maybe we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, it feels like, from the people I've talked to, it seems like people are interested, but then they kind of put their own roadblocks in the way before they even get started. It's like they're looking for a reason, or they're looking for an excuse as to why they can't do it, instead of looking for a reason that they can do it.
Right, and you know what? Trading has roadblocks, Josh. I mean, I was talking to a customer who's having trouble putting his broker to a demo account. Okay, and I'm like, let me tell you something. Okay, it took me forever. I'm on support with the broker. How? What? I was just totally confused. The beauty of it is we have it laid out step by step. But sometimes people like to throw roadblocks into anything. And, we spend a lot of time on mindset, Josh, as you know, that mindset is so important, not necessarily about your trading, but it's about your mindset. Can I achieve this? Can I achieve this, or I'm going to come up with an excuse, right? I have somebody who comes up with a roadblock almost every day, and I'm like, stop, okay? What's the problem? Ask. We have too many resources. You want to achieve this. You have to be able to knock down the bricks of that wall. And others are just, you can't, if you're lazy, you've got to figure out a way to get past laziness, right? You can't like join us and then not do anything for 2 weeks and all of a sudden I can withdraw from my trading account. It doesn't work that way. And that's part of mindset, right? When you join us, you have to have a plan. And people, it's one of the questions I get. How much time do I need to spend? We teach consistency. If it's 10 minutes a day, fine, that's consistent. If it's a half hour every other day, fine, that's consistent. But that's unfortunately, human nature, and something that humans, we have to battle is our mindset. And mindset comes into anything in life. It comes into our relationships. It comes into your work. It comes into changing your lifestyle, because it's very easy to kind of just do the same thing. This is safe. This is safe. It's tougher to come out of your shell to learn a skill. Like, for example, I was doing very well with affiliate marketing, network marketing, right? I didn't necessarily need to learn to trade, but I was just really, really intrigued, and I was impressed with what I had seen from the team that I joined it. And it was only after I understood the skill that I started saying, okay, well, now I can use my affiliate marketing skills to help free other people. Because when people join other affiliate programs, right, or when they're selling a product or whatever, there's not the, back and forth constantly. Here, I'm teaching almost every day to somebody something, right? No matter if it's in Unit 2, Video 3, they can miss it, right? So there's a lot more interaction sometimes with my folks than when I was just an affiliate marketer. You're buying a product, you got a product, I got a percentage of the sale. So it's rewarding, there's no question about it, but people's mindsets get in the way. I have been on my phone and I checked my record for motivation, inspiration, or something like that, Josh, was an 11-minute message to somebody who was down on himself, up and down and trading, but and I just challenged the person, okay, did you follow the plan that we lay out? No, not the straight line. We give you a straight line. If you go to the left, you go to the right, that adjusts the plan. So there's a lot more effort on our part, on leaders who want to help grow the team, but it's been really satisfying. It's really satisfying. Like in our group today, there was a trade yesterday that somebody took and they posted, and it was somebody on my part of the team, and then another person on my part of the team took the same trade. Yes, okay, it's just awesome because they're gaining the skill to change their future, and that's what this is all about.
Right. Absolutely. So in your trading career, up to this point, what would you say is the biggest mistake that you made personally?
Okay, this is a story, okay? So this is probably in my first year of trading. And, we teach you don't really trade indices or crypto until you master Forex. And I thought I was pretty good at mastering Forex. There's no question, I think by then I knew the skill. And there was a US 30 trade that I took, all right? Now, for those that are watching this and don't have any trading experience, we have tools to help manage a trade. You're not standing in front of the phone watching the trade every 5 minutes, okay? So it was a trade that I didn't have access to my PC. I only had access to my phone, which is fine. The trade was in profit. I had a stop loss placed. And then I woke up the next morning, and it was a monster win, the biggest win I have ever had up until that point. Josh, I didn't want to do anything that day except look at it. And it was still active because US 30, big swings can be very good. Bad swings the other way can be very bad, even with a stop loss, right? So you really need to master the Forex pairs because they move slower. So the trade closed. I'm like, man, I don't need to trade for a month. Okay. So then I'm on my way to my dad's house. This is like only 2 days later. So I'm in another US 30 trade. And it was going in my direction. I was in slight profit. Sorry, I've been battling a little bit of a cold. And I was in slight profit. Oh, great. And then I looked at it a few minutes later, and it started reversing. Right, okay, no big deal. And I kept going to my dad's house, and I'm not really kind of paying attention to it. And then I see maybe a half hour, an hour later after I'm at my dad's house, it's now going the other way. And it's past my stop loss that I should have had on there, but I took it off because I thought, that baby's going to reverse, man. Look what I did 48 hours ago. Okay? And Josh, it kept reversing. And so instead of, I don't know, closing the trade out, it's going to reverse. 6 hours later, it's still reversing.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And then that's where the mindset got me, right? I should have closed that trade out hours ago, lived to fight another day. I had just had a monster win. And it went all the way down to zero. I blew my account. And I wanted to take this phone. And people who talk to me, on our team, I coach baseball. I'm a passionate individual in a positive way, generally. Unless somebody on our said, hey, really needs real talking about what are you doing here? I needed that talking on that day because I wanted to take this object and I wanted to throw it against the wall. I'm like, what an idiot. I was an idiot, right? Oh, it's going to reverse. I won that trade. Oh, it's going to reverse. At some point, it's going to go my way. Oh, still going to go my way. It didn't go my way, Josh, and stopped me out. And here's the thing. After it stopped me out, maybe an hour later, you know what happened, right? I'm already out of the trade. It started reversing. Okay. I just wanted to. It was the worst mistake. Full disclosure, I tell people all the time, and in my Telegram channel, put a stop loss on. Make sure your stop loss is on. Don't risk more than 2%. Don't. Okay. And that's my biggest mistake in trading. And since then, mindset has never been an issue. If I lose a trade, next, right? You can't have FOMO. For people who don't know what FOMO is, fear of missing out. There's always another trade. Always. If you have a proper trading plan and your proper risk management and you have a stop loss, and if I had a stop loss there, I'm more mad about it because I was in profit for some dollars, not a lot like the previous one. And I'm like, I'm going to get busy here with my dad. Maybe I should just close it out or move the stop loss really close. If it stops me out, so I won the trade. And I didn't do it. Biggest mistake I ever made. I've never made it since, and I will have a stop loss in every single trade. So yes, that's my biggest mistake that I ever made, and it cost me.
Yeah, I mean it's a hard lesson to learn, but it's an important one to learn. I mean, like you said, you haven't made that mistake since, and sometimes some people need to have that mistake happen to themselves before just to really drive the point home of how important it is to manage your trade properly, to have a stop loss in place whenever you make a trade, and just to
And
really
you know what?
emphasize the
And
importance of that.
maybe, and you know what? Maybe that was my ego, right? My ego got in the way. I thought I was going to win, right? I coach baseball in the summer. I usually have winning teams, and I'm like, my ego got the best of me that day because I just thought, I just not hit this monster win 48 hours earlier. This baby's going to reverse. So that's where my mindset needed to be checked. Say, okay, well, you're not as good as you think you are, and I'm good, but that's because I have my mindset in check now. And so, and I get messages from people on trading. Oh my God, it reversed. I know it's hard, right? Because we're human beings, right? We're people. We can get emotional. If you're using a proper trading plan and proper risk management on every single trade, and you're following the process for taking a trade, there is no reason to ever be emotional. I don't think I've been emotional on one trade since that day. I mean, it took me a day or two to like mentally recover from it. And I'm like, man, I was an idiot. But again, that's the life lesson that I learned, and I haven't made that mistake since.
Yeah, and it's also impressive because I know a lot of people might be, pretty discouraged by something like that happening, and they might be hesitant to, to get back on the wagon and try to trade again. Partially because of just having a loss like that, or maybe it might be an ego thing. But to take that lesson, learn from it, and then, to have a fantastic trading career since then is, really something.
Absolutely. And again, I'd be fooling you if I didn't have a couple students that, took a stop loss off of a trade, and I have to say, what are you doing? Right? What are you doing? Right? And they were building their own account. And what are you doing? Right? Because they just kept winning. They kept winning. They kept winning. It only takes one trade without proper risk management and not a stop loss in the proper place to take away all that work to get where you're at today. So, yeah, I mean, my mindset is a rock now from that experience. And sometimes people need to go through that experience. Some people it's easy on their mindset. Okay, next trade, no big deal. Some people struggle with it, and I don't. I just don't, because that was a powerful, powerful message to me about what I should do in my trading.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems like and when it comes to trading, it's like they say, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's not about hitting the one big trade. It's about hitting a bunch of singles instead of always going for that home run, and just and knowing when to cut your losses, having that stop loss in place, so you can take your emotions out of it. So you don't have to try to think like, oh, should I get out now? Should I hold on to it? It might flip, it might not. But if you have that system in place, you just consistently follow that. You kind of let the system do the work. You don't have to rely on your emotions or rely on your ego to tell you what to do.
100%. Absolutely correct, Josh. Yep.
So after doing this for almost 6 years, what is the biggest mistake that you see in other traders now, aside from possibly like maybe not setting a stop loss?
The biggest that I see in others is I don't think they spend enough time, as we talked about, on their mindset. One of the resources that we have is we have an entire section on mindset. There is a book that everybody should read that's a trader, Trading in the Zone. They should read it. I tell people all the time that are on our team, have you read that book? Right? Because everybody's always so focused on the strategy, and that's important. It's crucial, right? We trade smart money concepts, where we ride the coattails of the banks. For those that aren't familiar with trading, most people are retail traders, and mindset is such an important issue. And I've had customers or teammates that 5, 6 months, they haven't read the book yet. I'm like, I had one actually, I think I did a Zoom with him, and he hadn't read Trading in the Zone, and it's one of our major resources. And that's where, for us, people, as I said earlier, need to stay on the correct path and not deviate from the path that we lay out, because what we do works. And the other major thing that people do, and that's whether they're in our team yet, not in our team, or wherever, is the old adage, shiny objects, okay? And that could be that $7 bot that they find. Oh my God, this is, or a gold bot. I've seen another one on a gold bot. Okay, if that bot at $7 was so good, would the person charge a little bit more than $7 for that bot? I think so. And would you trust a live account on a $7 bot? Never. And, and I see it all the time too. I mean, people they just get off the path, and that's including, some of our teammates, right? And we teach it all the time, because part of the job of leadership is to make sure they're staying on the correct path, because it is easy to deviate, right? If you go to my Forex timeline on Facebook, I never had any decision, any thought process about ever, oh, let me try that, let me try this, let me try the $7 bot, let me try that. Never. And because I'm posting on trading, I get stuff all the time. It's nonstop. So it's just that Facebook algorithm. You don't even have to post about it, for somehow they find out that in trading or whatever, and it finds your way on your algorithm. Info, info, info. What's this about? Show me this, show me that. When the path that we have is fantastic, it has freed so many successful people. And unfortunately, that's where the mindset gets in the way, right? Because you run into a stumbling block. You know what? If you don't understand break of structure, then we got to go back to work so you understand break of structure. And because there's going to be roadblocks like we talked about earlier. And sometimes people just don't like roadblocks, right? They just want the easy way. Is it, Josh, do you think there's an easy way to set yourself free financially?
I mean, it's not easy. No.
No, it's not easy unless you're winning the lottery, right?
Right.
So no matter what you do, it could be trading, it could be affiliate marketing. You got to grind it out every day, all right? You have to be consistent in your approach and not fall for shiny objects, right? I'm on TikTok, okay? And I'm like, and you get sucked into the Twitter rabbit hole and the TikTok rabbit hole, whatever it is. Oh, that's on this and that's on this, and you watch this and you watch that, instead of exactly what you're supposed to be doing is plugging in to what we have. I could talk for days about it, Josh, but it's the biggest mistake folks make is they run into a stumbling block and throw their hands up, all right? Or their mindset is not proper, or they go off the road as we shared earlier, right? The road's going to take you longer, right? And I've seen, by the way, I've seen this with some folks. They'll be on this team and they'll have this $7 bot, and they'll have this indicator and this indicator and this indicator, when you don't need all that stuff on your chart, right? And I never sucked into that. I mean, I can go to TradingView right now, and there's probably hundreds of indicators. I have no idea what they are, right? Because I've always kind of had the tunnel vision. Maybe I'm the lucky one because you don't get attracted to something else off the road. All I can share with our team that's watching this, or anybody else that's not even on our team but is in a certain area of making money online or whatever the case may be, is stop deviating from the path that was probably laid out for you step by step. That doesn't mean that step isn't going to be hard to take, but that's the next step on the road. Stop, pulling off to the side of the road and hitting this gravel road. Take the pavement. Let's go.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, all those distractions just kind of draw your focus away from the tried and true path that we know works. Has been proven time and time again from thousands of members with Team Abundance, and like you said,
Yeah,
they know that
I
if you
tell
put the work
people,
in, it works.
Josh, one of the things that when people reach out to me, and maybe you've said it as well, is I use the word special. Okay, I say it all the time. You can search my phone, and probably every person that's ever said, "What do you think about joining you guys?" or has joined us, I've said we're a special group. We're a special group. I could list all the resources. Would you like me to list all the resources that we have that tells you how special we are? Perfect, I can do that. So, first of all, we're teams and companies and all this stuff I see on my algorithm. They'll sign you up. There's the instructions. There's the bot or whatever it is. Go ahead, knock yourself out. If you got a question, send me an email. Okay. People know when they join through me, and people know when they join through you. We're locked in because I told you right at the beginning, this is about you being successful. Okay, because I've learned the skill. I want you to be successful now. Okay. So we're locked into a path. We add you to a private Facebook group. Okay. And then we have a Discord community, which has different sections on it to help with your training. We have a team website where we have a unit section, unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, unit 4, and you go through that step by step. We're locked into the academy where if, for example, this is a perfect example, I didn't know what a candlestick was, okay? And we have training on that, but now we lock you into an academy series, a 100 series, just some of the basics. It'll make it easier for you. So we locked in there. We have a couple educators that we're locked into that teach exactly what we teach. We go live with your Q&As on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Those leaders, now I'm a leader, but I'm not one of the main biggies. They're the ones that go live. They will stay on the session for as long as they have questions. Now, people say, what happens if I can't make a live session? Well, perfect. We have a section in our Discord community where you can post your question. And they literally go to each question, and there's always tons of them every day, and the leaders will answer those questions first before they'll answer any questions for anybody that's joined live. They'll stay on the session as long as there are questions. Sometimes it's an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes. So we have that resource. We have a Getting Started Millionaire Mindset webinar we do on Mondays, all right, with one of our leaders, because nobody else does that, Josh. I've seen a couple other trading things that have a Discord community. Nobody does what we do on Mindset. We're not going to have you look at a chart first. We're going to have you watch one of the leaders, write down goals, talk about your step-by-step journey, and talk about your why, right? What is your why? People are like, whoever is watching this, what do you mean, my why? Why do you want to be successful at trading? Why did you join us? What is your personal why? For me, time with family and freedom, right? For somebody else, it could be totally different. Quit their full-time job. That's my why, because that leads to more time for themselves and their family. So we have the private Facebook, we have the Discord community, we have the team training website, we have our daily sessions, we have you locked into a couple educators. And then when you join through us, either one of us, either through you or me, I have a Telegram chat for additional resources. So we're locked in to your success. And I'll go back to what I've said earlier. There's only two reasons why you would fail. You quit, or you don't follow the path. You got to follow the path and not quit.
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely feel like I think you put it perfectly when you say that this group is special. I think between the resources available, the just the support that you can receive in a myriad of ways. I mean, I think if anybody really wants to learn how to trade and you know have the freedom that learning how to trade can provide, I really think there's no better group, no better resource than Team Abundance.
Yeah, there isn't. And as I said, I tell everybody we're special. And I guess maybe I'm one of the lucky ones, right? Because I didn't look at, as I said, I didn't look at any of the trading thing. I only looked at this one, and it was from my sponsor, is one of the leaders. And I'm like, okay. And he finally said in Messenger, because I would ask question after question after question. This is months. There's no question of months. Are you ready yet? And I said, yeah, I think I'm ready. And I came aboard, and I haven't left since. And it was by far the best decision that I ever made. So anything that comes up, in my algorithm, I might just take a peek just to see what it is. There is not a thought process, a second in my brain of look. It's just more about knowing what else is out there. It doesn't compete to what we have. It's not even close.
No, it's really not. It's not. So for folks that are watching this, if they're watching this, or saying, this sounds great, I want to learn how to trade also. What should they do first?
Okay. So depending, if you're seeing this on Josh's business page, then you reach Josh. If you're seeing it on my stuff, you reach one of us. Okay. And what we'll do is we will provide some resources for you, including some free training for you, and give you more information on joining our community. All right. You've heard me use the term special many a times. Just reach out. We'll plug you into some free training, and we'll answer any questions that you have. And if it takes you months of asking one of us questions, and then at that point you finally join us on your journey, you'll tell me. And by the way, this is something that's happened hundreds of times. Jeff, I should have joined you 6 months ago. I hear it all day, every day, and on Sunday. Okay, so just find you on your business page, find me on wherever you see this, and one of us will take care of you. That's it.
Sounds good. Yeah, that was all the questions I had. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add. Otherwise,
No, I mean, thanks for the opportunity. I really, really enjoyed it. This is literally my first interview that I've ever done. I thought about doing it, and maybe I'm going to interview one of my students I brought on board. Maybe that's coming. So hopefully a lot of people got value. Even if they don't want to learn how to trade, just the value of staying on a path, proper mindset, do what it takes, okay? Because, and I'll go back to my final point here. is that when I wanted to change my future before I got to trading, I had a full-time job. I actually had a part-time job. I had 2 small kids that were involved in multiple sports. I had visitation that I had to go to. Okay. And I'm trying to think what else. And going through the divorce, and I still started my business from scratch. So if I can do it, you can do it. That's all I got.
Well said. Thanks again, Jeff. This was a lot of fun. And yeah, so like you said, if you want to learn how to trade, reach out to either one of us. We'll get you some free resources. Happy to ask any or answer any questions you may have. And hopefully you join the team.
Sounds good. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it. Take care.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.